Welcome, everybody. This is the CyphaDen chat in association with the Denku podcast. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. We got my homie Pestilence in the building. And tonight, special guest by way of Atlanta, Georgia, the homegirl, Rogue Dynamo in the building. What is going on?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Uh, it's I haven't even known you for super long. And I met you at a show that me and my homie Urban Legend were on when we did our tour for the artistic display tour back in what was that 2022, 21, 22?
Probably 21, I
Damn, was
think,
it?
because I
Damn, was
feel
it 20?
like, because Atlanta just stayed open, so like it all kind of
It
blends
might you
in
I
to
think
me.
you're right. It might have been 21. Now that I'm thinking about it. It was either 21 or 22. I
hmm
feel like you're right though. It might have been 21. Um And yeah, played a dope outdoor spot called the Heck House. I heard they had some issues kind of after that show.
Unfortunately, yeah,
And but yes, I was uh Victor Mariachi got you on the show with us. He
the homie.
recommended you. Yes, shouts to him. He recommended you get on the show because I was unaware at the time. And then all of a sudden, me and Urban are there. And we're like, oh yeah, well we'll see how all these artists are on this show because we've had leading up to that show, we've had some shows where, you know, sometimes things happen, but y'all killed it
Okay,
and you ki-
thank you.
and you killed it. And we were like, well, damn. Like everybody on that whole show killed it. It was
hmm
actually we talked about it after the tour. It was one of our more favorite shows of the whole tour run that we did. And one of the reasons was because people popped out, the vibe
Yes,
was nice, all the artists on the bill were dope. And it was outside. I mean, you can't beat an outside show. I mean, it's kind of dope.
yeah, it was good weather too. It was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So since then, what you been doing?
Let's see. I dropped some videos, dropped some music. I did take a little bit of time off to get my life together. It's certain things that I do. I'm a photographer as well, little things like
Hmm.
that. So I was working on building a business. Um, yeah, but I always been recording. I stay recording. So yeah, just dropped a
That
single,
that's
and
dope.
yeah,
Yeah.
got a lot more.
Shout that single out. Shout that single out.
Oh, I want it all. So yeah, it just came out. Let's see. It's only been out for maybe like a month and a half, something like that. But yeah, it's called I Want It All. It's streaming everywhere. So whatever you listen to, Apple Music, Spotify, you can stream it on YouTube, wherever you want to go. It's out there. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. Um,
It's been fun. It's been fun. We have fun with the artwork on it too. So yeah.
and you be in some dope ass studios because we follow each other on Instagram and I be looking. I'm like, man, she be in some dope ass studios recording this.
You got to find one with a vibe, like so shouts out to Mud Knock. That's where I've been recording lately, like Mud Knock Studios. It's just a vibe. It just makes you feel comfortable. It's got nice lighting. It's just Star Wars stuff in the booth. Like, man, it's great.
See, and I told Pestilence, I told him, I said, just so you know, our guest this week is a fan of Star Wars, and we might have to talk a little bit about Star Wars on the podcast this week because she knows all that shit. Like she be putting me in my place when we've had our little conversations about Star Wars. But oh shit, look at he's got do you have the gallery mode on right
Oh, let
now?
me see.
He's got
Yes. What? Oh, that's dope. Yes. Wow. Oh man. Oh, I gotta catch
That's all
up.
my roommate stuff.
I got R2D2 in the corner. So yeah, shouts out to all the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
I got a couple things. I'm not I'm not gonna leave my studio desk to take y'all around on a journey to look at my ridiculous collection of shit because I have way too much shit packed up in the other room. But
I've got lightsabers too. I should bring it over here and
oh
just
shit, lightsabers.
yeah.
You got like the professional joints, like the real
Not the
dope ones.
official ones. Nah, this one was a gift. So they're just hold on. Let me like I shall return. Like
Word up, word up. See, I told you, Pesto. I told you what was gonna go
You
down.
did.
let's see. But anyway, here's one of them. Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that one looks cold though. That one looks
Yeah,
dope.
it's not bad. Yeah, it changes all the colors and
Yeah,
you can get Sith if you want.
I mean, I want to get one, but like I want to get like one of the dope, like one of the good ones, like that. That one looks like a
Yes.
good one, but I mean,
Yeah.
I want to get one of them, but my daughters be like, "Nah, you don't need that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know I don't need it, but
But you do.
but but, but it would be so nice if I had it." Like y'all not understanding.
Bro,
It
you
is
remember
fun.
when we were on our way to Chicago and your one daughter called and she was like scared and you're like, here's the throwing knives, here's the the air pistol. Imagine if you'd be like, all right, go over here and get the lightsaber.
It would be funny if right, yeah. That shit would be it would be funny. It would be funny one day if they make real lightsabers. I heard they were trying to make some, but it doesn't look as cool as like the real lightsabers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw some articles about how they were trying to make real life lightsabers, and supposedly there's this one guy that created um this high powered beam of light flashlight that can cut through shit. Have you ever
Oh,
seen
wow.
this? Have you heard about this? Yeah,
No.
so supposedly there's like this military guy that created this high beam flashlight that's so powerful that if you're super close to something, it can cut through shit.
Oh, that's insane.
Like the beam is so crazy. Um, but yeah, and then I also saw that somebody was trying to make a real life lightsaber, but I don't. It doesn't really look anything like the cool, like professional looking lightsabers that people do their lightsaber fights with. It doesn't look anything cool
Right.
like that. But Pesto, I might just buy one, man, because I'm gonna bring it to my shows, man. I'm gonna fucking and
What
and
are they
and then
for?
and then next time that I tour Atlanta, me and Rogue gonna have a lightsaber fight right on the stage. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm
That'd be
with it.
tight.
I'm with
That'd be tight.
it.
She probably already got the skills, been practicing and everything. Crazy.
I watch some
Uh,
YouTube videos for fun when I'm bored. Yeah.
they are some people are cold at it. Like they're real
Yeah, they're
cold
really
at
into it. Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Well, the dude that played Darth Maul, I don't know if you knew that, like was not an actor. He was cast because of his fucking acrobatic skills and like his ability to like whip around a lightsaber and shit. That's why they picked that guy.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
you you knew that? Of course you knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had heard. Yeah, I did.
Well, of course you knew that. Come on. I'm the one that's behind here. Shit. Um, so before we get into the history of you, Ryman, your photography history, since we're already on the concept of Star Wars, what do you think about the Acolyte series coming out? You excited for that?
I am very excited. Yeah, I'm waiting on it. I think it comes out tomorrow or
Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
It's
It's
tomorrow, yeah.
tomorrow? Oh, wow. Yes. Yeah, I've been waiting because they take a break in between, shows and everything. So,
Yeah, they haven't had nothing in a minute, I feel like. I feel
mm-mm.
like it's been a while because they had the writer's strike, and then when that
Yes.
finally ended, now we're back in the production mode. So now you got all this shit that they're preparing to put out, that was already supposed to have been out. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, it looks super dope. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I wish people would stop fucking around with the okay. So me and Pestilence have had this conversation. I don't have a problem with AI shit, right? But I actually hate when people use AI to try to trick people into fucking movies that don't exist or shows that don't exist
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I keep seeing these random AI created covers or trailers for like a Darth Vader fucking series,
Which would be dope.
which
But
would
yeah.
be super dope, but it's not happening. But it will be
Right.
cold. It would be so cold if they did that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You have to look twice at stuff like I'm seeing because you get a little excited. You're like, wait, oh no, this is fake. They should put
yeah.
fan made, like
Well, you know,
offer
not
it.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't. I assume maybe your main platform is Instagram. I'm not sure. Is Instagram what you use the most?
I flip around, but I guess probably Instagram because I just like to watch.
So I don't know if you saw. I think it even added itself on Instagram and Pestilence. I don't know if you saw this, but Instagram and Facebook now had added this thing on there where if you create something with AI, you're supposed to click that it was created with AI. Otherwise, you could potentially get in trouble.
Hmm.
If it's a realistic looking thing that has like real actors' faces in it or whatever, you have to technically click the option that it was created with AI because I think they're going to start cracking down on people if you don't do that and you put out something like that. They're either going to shut your account down or some shit like that is going to start happening. Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I did see it within the last like week or two, like brand new.
yeah. They just started coming out with it. But yes, Pestilence, you're not really in the. I mean, I know your roommate is into collecting Star Wars stuff. Are you really even into Star Wars at all?
Actually, I think I told you like I'm not. Star Wars was something I never really got deep into. Um, I was always so like when I was growing up, we didn't ever like my family never really got into any kind of like movie series or anything. So everything I absorbed was stuff that I absorbed on my own. And
Mm,
I was still young before internet was like in your hand and something that was like readily accessible. And I lived in the country, so we didn't even have internet at our house. So the majority of the stuff that like I got into was stuff that like I read. So it was like mostly
mm,
books and stuff like that. So it was like outside of like the Star Wars, I got more into like Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
and that was
dope.
like Harry Potter was new, so I read all that when I was little, stuff like that. So it was like I got into those ones. Um, I definitely have like a lot of love for like the in-depth storytelling though. I think that's mad dope, and I know that they've done countless adaptations and stuff to varying different successes. I lived with a guy at one point that like it was like every time I came home, he was watching a different Star Wars series or something, or he was playing a Star Wars game, and he would. It was just kind of funny because like he wasn't the most talkative guy, but I would ask him about something like specific that I was like, all right, this is a really weird off the wall. Like, tell me about this. And he would run in the entire like lore series, like everything, and be like, oh, well, actually, this guy, like, go through the
That's
whole
funny.
thing. So yeah,
yeah.
it was fun. I know it's
I
mad in depth, but it was kind of one of those where it's like I missed the boat, and it was like, man, that's gonna take me decades to
Lord of the
absorb.
Rings was fire too, though.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was dope.
I
It
definitely
was dope.
love Lord of the Rings.
Um, so what's your favorite episode, bro? I mean,
Uh,
we on the topic.
of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. I can't say it's necessarily an episode, but I love the Clone Wars, like the animated series.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's like your favorite joint. Your favorite joint?
You know what? If I had to say what my favorite movie was, it's like I do have a favorite movie, but I feel like what they did with the Clone Wars and connecting everything was
Mm,
like epic because I wasn't expecting it. So that stands out to me more. Um, because I was only familiar with the movies and I didn't watch the Clone Wars animated series because I thought it was kiddie. And I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. So I got on it super late. And when I did watch it, I think it had already ended like for years, like because I think I didn't watch it until the 2020, when all that stuff was going on and everybody was
Yeah,
at
yeah,
home.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, I really slept on this. But if I had to pick a movie, um, I would say, ah, I don't know, man, because they're all so good and they're all connected. I'm like, because I'll
I
just
mean,
sit and watch them all. I don't know.
well, my favorite one still to this day is episode 3 is my favorite one.
Okay,
Just
in the order,
because
in the new order, or like, okay,
no, like so like yeah, so from episode 1, 2, 3, not the new Star Wars joints.
okay, got you. Okay, got you. Yeah, yeah,
Episode
okay.
3 in the original 6 before the new order of it, right? So episode 3 is my favorite one, and it's mainly because it's got some of my favorite characters in it. Some of my favorite fight scenes are in it. Like even though I wish the General Grievous fight lasted longer, he's like one of my favorite villains. Like collecting all the dead
Yeah, when he has
Jedi's
all the savers,
points.
yeah.
Cold, super dope. I know he was more prominent in the Clone Wars series.
Hmm.
Super dope there, and then obviously the epic fight at the end between Obi-Wan and Anakin before he's going to transition into Darth Vader. And plus, I mean, he just murdered every Jedi in the fucking world before that. You know, like that
Yeah,
shit. That whole episode is insane. Like the Mace Windu death scene is insane.
yeah. And
The
the
fucking
younglings
the younglings, that
killed them
shit's
all.
crazy. Like he didn't give a fuck. Like that
Yeah,
episode was dark as fuck.
yeah.
It was crazy.
It was when it hit the fan, like the build up with all the other two movies, and then when it hit the fan, like they really took it in there. Do you
Yeah.
think Mace Windu is still alive?
I actually I wish he was, but I don't think he is.
Because people still speculate about it. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know how he could. I mean, how did he it would be crazy if he survived. How did he survive? He got thrown out into space.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, hold
I
on a
mean,
second.
if he really survived, it'd be kind of crazy, like you know. But I mean, Darth Maul survived, so it's
Yes.
not impossible
Yeah.
in the Star Wars universe to have people randomly survive some fucked up traumatic shit that happens because obviously he survived and he got built into like half machine, half person shit.
Right.
So it can happen. Mace Windu, all probably one of my favorite Jedi's just because like the purple saber is cold. Like, I wish he
Hmm.
would have had more scenes. Did you hear the interview where they talked to him about being in Star Wars? Did you see the interview?
I did.
Depends
I
on
saw
which
it.
one. Yeah.
So there's one that's hilarious where they're asking him um what director do you really want to work with or whatever, and he said, oh, I want to work with George Lucas, like Star Wars. I would love to be a part of Star Wars series, and then he was like, I just want to be in Star Wars. He's like, you could just make me a fucking stormtrooper. I'll just run across the screen and shit. Like he said, I didn't even care what I was. Just make me some little role or whatever. And then he found out that they were gonna make him a Jedi, and that he was gonna be able to talk to Yoda. And then he like spazzed out, and he was like, "Oh shit!" Like the interview was hilarious. Is that the interview you saw, Pesto? Did you see that interview?
Well, I thought you were talking about the color of the lightsaber thing when they asked him what color he wanted his lightsaber to be, and he was the one
Oh,
that was like, purple. And they're like, we don't have purple. And he's like, why don't you make purple? So they made that just for him. Like that was his idea.
which is
He was the
dope.
first one to come up with that. Yeah, the purple lightsaber looks crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the dopest. That one and the Ahsoka white sabers are cold too to me.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
that's
like those.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So but yes. All right. Now that we got the Star Wars out of the system, Rogue, tell me when you started rhyming? Tell me that.
Um, I had always been a poet since I could like write. And I guess I started writing raps when I was like 10 maybe, because I was writing, I used to
Mm,
sing R&B, you know, when you're a little kid and you're listen to everybody sing. So me and my friends, we had an R&B group and I was writing the songs. And
oh,
then I
word.
decided that I didn't want to write love songs because I was like 8. So I started writing more poetry and rapping. So yeah, probably about I say 10 is when I figured it all out. Yeah.
Damn. That's even earlier than I started rhyming. I started rhyming when I was 12. And then my first actual show was in front of the entire school when I was 14 because everybody knew I rapped. So I got to do like a small mini set thing for the Cinco de Mayo program randomly. Whoever orchestrated wanted to have hip hop involved, and that's what it
That's
was. And
cool.
then every year after that, I was involved in all the programs. Black History Month program, Cinco de Mayo program. We would have they would I would orchestrate the hip hop shit because a lot of people the school I went to, a lot of people didn't rhyme. Like they didn't rap really at all. It was a basketball school. Like the school was cold at basketball. Made the championships every year. Like we even had some people that were high prospects. And the fucking Antetokounmpo brothers went to Dominican, like from the Bucks. I don't know if you follow basketball like that.
Not so much lately, but I used to, yeah.
So like Giannis from the Bucks, his brothers went to Dominican.
Hmm.
Not when I was there. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I'm old and a bitch, so
Oh my gosh.
I've been around for a minute, but
You started performing before me though, like at 14. Like I was still kind of nervous about my talent and like I didn't have my first show until I was 17.
hmm,
Hmm.
well, the latest bloomer in the podcast right now would be the homie Pestilence, who actually has only been rhyming 5 years, but sounds like he's been rhyming probably as long as I've been rhyming.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
That's
You want
tight.
you yeah. Pestilence is actually the homie that I am bringing on tour with me in the fall. We're gonna make it the Denko and the Pest tour. I actually tried to route something through your area, but it just did not fit in the cards for this run.
Oh wow.
I'm doing wrapping around and then going up through the New England area. So I'm going all the way up the East Coast into Maine and then coming back down. But yeah, 21 dates. The closest I was gonna get to Atlanta for this run was we were gonna potentially have an Athens date, which is like right there. But
That's a good city.
but my homie that I know there already had something booked for the day that I was looking for that he's a part of because he also is an artist. So it just didn't make sense because it's not like it's an event where he could add a group on. It's like he's also part of a live band that plays music uh for this venue like on a week like either a weekly or a monthly thing and it just landed on the wrong spot is basically what it
Mm.
was. So that's basically what happened there. But yeah, so started rhyming at 10. Where did the inspiration come from?
Uh, I was looking, I don't know, at that time, like it was a lot of like bass music, you know, like Freaknik and all of that. And so I was looking for
Mm,
something that expressed more. So my inspiration came from like my older brother playing music for me, playing the Chronic, my older cousin showing me Wu-Tang Clan,
mm,
um, let's see, Outkast, that like their music and seeing them, seeing Southern music with like more of a message, like that really like stood out. And then like Eminem, interestingly enough, like just the thought process behind it, the emotion, DMX, an artist with emotion. So
Mm,
taking all of that I was listening to and just kind of taking the poetry I was already making and just kind of honing it a little bit better and like to beats. So
I feel that. Speaking of Eminem, what do you think of the new track?
he has a pattern, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when he releases, it's a Slim Shady track. It is like I saw a post, I think, where you said it's like my name is a something. One of his other tracks that sounds really similar, but it's a gimmicky track. The Eminem fans, we know he's got some other stuff that sounds totally different, that's gonna be way doper. And it's like I'm like, all right, I gave it a spin. I'm supporting. I'm waiting on the other stuff. But he did
Yeah.
have some funny bars in there, though. I will say that he
Okay.
has some funny bars in there.
Yeah. So I will say this. All right. Um I always thought Eminem had crazy bars, witty lyrics.
Hmm.
Always hated his voice and delivery, which made me not a very super Eminem fan. It's just how it was for me.
You listening to
Not
the album or the singles?
no. I've listened to albums.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
yeah,
I
that's fair
just
then.
I just do not like I just I don't like his the voice. Just
Hmm.
like when I'm listening to it, yeah, the beats are cool and he's got crazy lines, right? Like probably the most creative lines in hip hop, right? Like nobody wants to battle or write diss tracks to Eminem because he'll write some crazy shit and shit on you. That's what it is.
Hmm.
But
Facts.
but like the voice though. Like the voice.
I got some artist voice that just don't sit right with me. So I feel you. Like, I feel like him, but I feel you on like that voice is something that, to like an artist, you gotta like how they sound. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you gotta
like
listen to so much of it.
yeah. Um but yeah, for me this was literally it's okay. So it's crazy to me because there's this crazy uproar about the track. I know that's probably what he was going for anyway. Um but literally it is literally to me it's those songs, those popular singles, especially with the video and how we laid it out. It's those songs today. And the way the world is today, they're hating crazy because the world is just soft as fuck. It's what it is. Like people are so snap of a finger jumping into trying to cancel somebody because cancel culture is a real thing now. People are trying to get rid of people just for doing the shit that they've been doing. People were, I saw a lot of people talking about the Megan the Stallion line and how it like was a little too far and blah blah blah.
It
I'm
was
not gonna lie
funny.
to you. I have a Megan the Stallion line somewhere. I know I do. I know I have a Megan the Stallion line about that same fucking incident. I know I do
And it
somewhere.
wasn't necessarily a diss either, though. Like it was just kind of because he was talking about collabing, but it was still like a roast. So,
Yeah, because it like yeah, like and it was witty, right? It was witty.
yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah,
It was
when
the
I read it, I
collab,
just bust out laughing. Yeah,
but then the feet thing, shot in the foot. Yeah, I mean, come on.
yeah, it
Uh,
was witty. It was witty. You gotta give him that.
yeah. Pestilence, what you think, man? What I mean, what's your opinion?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where it's like I don't know. There were times because like you said, I didn't get into hip hop until like 5 6 years ago, and I've kind of been just running through. Like I'll just deep dive different artists and go through. And I went through a lot of Eminem's catalogs and stuff. I got a lot of respect for like, particularly more his earlier stuff was more in line of like the style and the topics and stuff that I really like the the mainstream. Any of that kind of stuff is like stuff that's really hard for me to relate to, regardless of the artist that kind of goes down that path. I don't hate on it because like I get it. Like, yo, you fucking making it. go fucking make it, dude. Like if that's doing it for you, no matter who it is. So I've never really had like the because I know it seems like people are pretty divisive. It's like either they fucking hate somebody or they love somebody. I've just kind of been in the middle on it. I did watch the new video. I thought the video was cool. Like I thought
Very creative.
the
Very
yes,
creative.
and the use of like the new resources and stuff since the last time he was doing the Slim Shady character, resources as far as video production have come so far. I thought it was kind of cool that he like made it a comic book kind of thing and really made that come to life. Um, I hope that like, you know, with the full project being called The Death of Slim Shady, that he does more of that creatively, like make it into a comic book, have all that kind of in the videos and stuff. I think that's kind of dope. So I like that part of it. As far as like the music itself, it wasn't really my vibe. I've been kind of into different stuff than that for a while, so it's like it wasn't really. But I didn't think it was terrible or anything like that. It was alright. It was it was cool to, you know, it's always cool to me whenever hip hop is doing something that's big enough, regardless of where it's coming from, that it's reaching people outside of hip hop. So I always try to temper my expectation, even if it's something where it's like, this isn't for me. If it's getting people to talk about hip hop that aren't normally talking about hip hop, I don't really have as much of a problem with it. Like I think it's dope. And I mean, even when it's somebody like him that's pushing the envelope, um, I think like the uproar being even more so. I mean, he's always had people pissed about
Hmm.
everything he's doing since he started. He had people up in arms trying to cancel him before cancel culture was a thing. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a bunch of people going, "Oh my God, did you hear? He said this. He's here. He said that." And I think about like when people say that, I'm like, well, it's pretty clear that you are more on that cancel culture wagon than you are the actually having a problem with stuff he said. Because if you had a problem with stuff he said here, you should have been having problems with this guy and been championing like, how are you guys behind this guy? Because like he said way, way worse stuff
Oh
in
yeah.
his earlier projects. Like
Yeah.
this is like not even close to that in terms of like offensiveness and pushing the envelope. And I'm also in the camp that nothing's off limits. I mean, like the message depends on how you portray it and what you're trying to do with it. And I think when people
Mm.
try to exploit stuff, that's where things get kind of hazy. But I mean, like, I think it's important to have dialogue and have discussions and not sweep stuff under the rug. I mean,
Right.
stuff getting swept under the rug and not talked about is how you have Diddy situations and Harvey Weinstein's and people that are doing real evil behind the scenes that people don't talk about. So I think having discussions about everything, regardless of how comfortable it is to talk about, I think that's important. So I never have a problem with people rapping about whatever the hell they want. I think it's important what you do with that message and how you try to convey it. But I didn't catch him trying to like glorify and have people do fucked up shit. So it's like, nah, man, this is somebody that's just touching on these issues and making it topical in the way that he can. He's a hip hop artist. This is his style of doing that. I think it's dope that he's doing that and he's continuing to talk about things like that. Like that's his style and I like that he's getting back to that more so than I know like he had some albums where he was trying to get deeper and talking about deeper stuff and I'm sure there's a lot of people that really like that. But it's like I like it's almost like South Park, like a social commentary where you don't really give a fuck what
Hmm.
anybody's saying, but you're gonna talk about whatever the fuck you're gonna talk about. And I think I like that element of it.
Yeah. It's definitely creative. Very creative. The video was actually real crazy. And
Like
the
him and
thing
Dre nodding to each other in the car was
and the,
hilarious.
and yeah, and then Dre beating him up, right?
Yeah,
And then like you said, like taking advantage of the new forms of things you can do in videos now, like the entire car situation was
yeah.
crazy, like how that whole shit went together. Um, but I'm sorry, I just have to go there because you mentioned South Park. Rogue, have you seen the newest South Park? Uh, the newest South Park.
The end of obesity.
The end of obesity.
No, I haven't seen it. I love South Park, but I've been off on the newer seasons. Sometimes
So
I
This is a
catch
movie.
an episode or something.
yeah, so
What?
so
It's a
late
movie?
so lately they've been putting out like short movies.
Oh,
Like
I'm hyped now.
like they've been doing a bunch of them, and this one is actually let me tell you the premise. It's basically there's these drugs that are supposed to stop obesity in people, but
Mm.
only the rich people can get the drugs. So the poor people are left to get the drugs that are called Lizzo
Oh
because
my gosh.
because, because they're instead of getting skinny, you are accepting of your. It's fucking crazy, actually.
I'm
And
gonna go
there's
watch it when we're done.
it's so
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's great.
And there's actually a reaction because Lizzo watched it. And
Oh, okay.
and there's a reaction of her watching it.
Oh
And
wow.
she tried she tries to laugh along, but they shitted on her real bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, she
So
got the
like
treatment.
so like she couldn't, I mean, you can fake laugh at it, but she got shitted on real bad. But but the thing about it is, in my mind, I think she kind of had it coming because of the shit that recently happened with her, where she's professing the acceptance of your body, positivity, but then she body shamed her dancers.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's crazy.
So, like, that's probably why she got attacked on it, because South Park doesn't really, you know, they only hit people that they feel they need to hit. It's not just like some random, like when Kanye was on some crazy shit and they did
Yeah.
the fish sticks joint. Like,
They're specific with the satire. Like,
yeah.
yeah. And they keep it relevant.
But yes, I would highly recommend you check it out because that shit is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
But
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm like, okay.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
like I gotta say thank you because you might appreciate it because I'm sure you probably watch Lost Boys. My favorite little detail is when they have Randy trying the drugs and they fucking played Cry Little Sister while he's
Oh shit,
injecting
yeah,
himself with the needle.
yeah.
I
That was
was
hilarious.
crying. I'm
That
like,
was
bro, really?
hilarious.
What a song to pick for this. Like
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole. Hey, Rogue, you've seen the movie Lost Boys?
No, not fully. No.
Really? So
Yeah, in
okay, so
passing, when you pull up the people's crib, that's it.
yeah, yeah. So that there's like a direct scene in the new South Park that like pays homage to that movie, and it's actually it's funny how they do it though. It's like
yeah.
Now I got two movies to watch. All right, cool.
yeah. Well, Lost Boys to me is probably one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. Um,
Oh, okay.
I think it's
personally,
just great all around. I mean, like the soundtrack, the acting, the premise,
yeah,
the
it's
kind of
good.
got a little bit of everything.
I
Yeah,
do like
hopefully,
vampires, so I'm sold.
yeah, hopefully it's not one that they throw in the remake bin. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really trying to see that.
I cannot stand remakes. I don't even know one that has been good. I'm
True Grit, True Grit's the last one I saw that was good,
mm.
and that was a long time ago. But see, I'm okay with it if they're remaking a movie from 1960 that nobody's ever seen. Fine, like or people that have seen it are long since passed or not the target audience. Then I'm
Yeah,
cool with it because I feel like you're bringing shine back. Like even with the new Roadhouse, like that new Roadhouse movie, I watched it and I was like, all right, it's not as good as the old one to me. It's not for me. It's for people that have never even heard of Roadhouse.
yeah.
For
I
them to
mean,
check it
it's
out and then here there's an old one. I think it does have its purpose there.
yeah, it was entertaining. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
I did watch it. That movie was entertaining. My thing with movies is I'm not one of those crazy movie critics where like I'll break it down. I mean, we used to have a movie podcast that we did for a short amount of time, which I mean, it was a lot of fun to do it. But because I'm a movie freak, but I'm not as hard picky on it. I'm not like the Simon Cowell of fucking movies. Like if the
Mm.
fucking movie entertains me, I'm good. If the movie puts me to sleep and I'm like, this is the worst shit I ever saw because I can't even stay awake to watch it, it's terrible. To me, that's how I rank. If it entertains me, it's good. Although I do
Hmm.
have but I have my favorites too. You know what I'm saying? I have my favorites, but if it's entertaining, it's good to me. If it puts me to sleep, terrible. I'll never recommend it to anybody ever in life. But but yes, and there have been movies that have done that for me, really. But yeah, speaking of remakes, one that stands out to me, Magnificent Seven, I liked. I've never even
Oh,
seen
that's
the
a
original.
remake of
Yeah,
something?
I've never even seen the
yeah.
original.
Huh.
Never
Right.
even seen it.
That's what I mean is like because the original is so old and so obscure that it's like most people haven't seen it. I like when they do that because I feel like it brings shine back to something that maybe I look at it like, man, you drop a classic album that 15 people heard it, and then 30 years later somebody finds it and goes, "Oh my God, this is a classic album. Let's re-release this." And people are watching it. That's how I feel like the energy from a remake
Hmm.
like that is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Well, we went on a whole see what I was telling you how we just free flow, bro. We just fucking go
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. No, this
Yeah.
is
So,
cool.
but yes. So we free flowed all the way over there. But let's get back into when do you think you got serious with the hip hop? When did you want to make an album? Like when was that time and what inspired that to happen?
I'd have to say I was like probably about 18, 19. Um, and I guess technically it was a mixtape. It
Mm,
wasn't even necessarily an album, but I kind of approached it like an album with the concept and skits and all of that. And
yeah.
yeah, I was like 18, 19, probably closer to 19. And yeah, that was the time. I had something to prove for that. That's
Yeah.
what inspired it. Yeah.
And see, that's dope because skits are like dead now. I feel like
Yeah.
not many people use skits anymore, and I feel like that's a lost thing in albums. I feel like it was a cool bridge between songs, like the skit, the skit interlude idea, like where you have like maybe you have an interlude beat that comes on with like a service announcement that leads you into the next joint. Like I always thought shit like that
Hmm.
was cool and what brought full albums together. Like now, there's people from my city that will just put 10 singles out and then maybe they'll call those 10 singles an album later on. They won't even have merch.
Yeah.
It's a different era. It's a different world. I'm old school, so I still come from the album era. I still like to make albums. Um, you know, concepts. We
I
have
think
talked.
skits is what makes it classic,
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
are
yeah.
there many classics anymore,
No, there's not. See,
Yeah.
there's not.
And you
There's
think
not.
about, I think, in my opinion, I think Good Kid, Mad City will be a classic if people don't already consider it that. And that album had skits. It had a flow. It had an idea behind it.
Mm, yeah. Pastor, you ever do any skits for any of your projects? You got any skits?
Are you kidding me, man? That's like our bread and butter, bro. Like, so the Two-Face Media formula more so, like me and Space kind of talked about it. Like what we like to do when we build albums is like Pink Floyd used to do, where their whole project was a listening experience. You could play it front to back, and there was always something tying it together. There was no hard cut
Nice.
from song to song. There was always something to bleed it in. So like every project I've ever done has had lots of skits on it. Some of them are just 5 seconds long. Some of them are much longer. You'll appreciate this because I know you hate the movie Denku, but it has some of the funniest dialogue for the track that did that project, Animal Farm. It's all animal themed stuff, and there's a song on there called Walrus, and I took clips from Tusk of the old man telling Justin Long that he's gonna turn him into a walrus.
Bro, Tusk is one of the worst movies I ever seen in my whole life.
Wow.
I loved it. I loved it.
No,
I've
you know
never
what?
heard of it.
You know what? It's okay. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It was entertaining, but bro, what the fuck is that? Come on.
It's fucked up. It's one of those movies where it's like, if you want to throw somebody for a journey, you're just like, hey, you ever seen Tusk? It's a Kevin Smith, the guy from Clerks. It's a
Okay, yeah.
horror movie he produced and made. So it has like black comedy elements in it. And like my favorite thing about it is because I was just working in a restaurant, and one of the chicks I work with, her and her boyfriend would always come in later and we would chop it up, and they were like, man, you ever seen Tusk? And I was like, nah. So they went and got it from their house. Like, oh, let us go get it for you. You watch this tonight. No background, no nothing. I have no idea what it's about. And then I watched this movie and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I proceeded to do the same thing they did and just dump it on other people. And
Jesus.
my favorite thing that I noticed is when I was watching it, Johnny Depp is in the movie
Oh,
and he plays
cool.
a pretty significant role. But you can't tell it's Johnny Depp. He doesn't sound like Johnny Depp. He doesn't look like Johnny Depp. He's not advertised in the credits anywhere. He's just doing it like as like kind of like a meme almost. Like he is playing into that, like, hey, let's make this as weird as we can by just having Johnny Depp be this. He's like a detective.
God damn it,
And
Pesto. You're gonna make me go watch that fucking movie again.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it too.
And I didn't even want to watch it again, but you're gonna make me fucking watch it again now. God damn it.
there's some stuff like Deku said that's really bad. There's some like really weird CGI kind of effects. There's some like it's kind of a fucked up premise. But that and the villain of the movie that they have, and I don't know the actor's name. I've never seen it. His performance in that movie is to me one of the best performances I've seen from somebody playing like a role. Like in that kind of movie, this guy took that role and was like, "Yes, I'll be
Oh
this
wow.
guy." And his diet, like I was like, man, this would
He's shaking
horrify
your
me
head.
if I was put in this situation. Because that's how I always look at horror movies. If it's a horror movie that's like, you got a supernatural being, usually I'm like, that wouldn't scare me because I would probably find some magical power that would fuck them up. But when it's just like, hey, this is an insane human being that is doing fucked up shit and they're committed to it, that's a lot more terrifying to me, especially when they prove like, well, this is how you can't get out of it because he's done this. And I'm like,
Mm.
fuck, dude, if I was in that guy's shoes, I would be not doing okay right now. I'd be pissed.
Yeah, Rogue, let me just tell you, um, the end of the movie, the end of the movie part is basically the guy that gets transformed into a human walrus basically gets put on display in a zoo and all of his friends come and look at him.
Oh wow.
And throw him fish.
Oh, that's crazy. That's how it ends?
Yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
ends.
That's like the happy ending.
Interesting.
It's
I don't know if I want to watch it now. I
It's
was
it's
fucked
sold
up.
until that part.
It's fucked up.
I'm telling you, it's to me. I was a one and done on it. I wasn't, but Pestilence kind of made me want to look at it again now. But I don't know when that's gonna be. I got some other movies on my list, far ahead of rewatching Tusk. I will tell you
Yeah.
that.
That sounds like
Um,
Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if you guys ever seen that with the Lakeith Stanfield, the guy from Atlanta, the TV show.
hmm, I
It's
have
like
not.
not a
I have not
super
seen that.
well-known movie.
I feel like I saw it somewhere. I don't think I watched the movie, but I saw it on a streaming platform.
That one has like a really weird ending. Like it starts off as one thing, and then you're like, oh, this is great. And then it gets like dark, and then it just gets weird. And in the end, you're like, okay. Kind of just
One of
leaves your
those.
mind like messed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like those kind of movies. Maybe I will check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I like movies that make me think, whether it's something that like, especially if it's something that's like horrifies me in a way. Cause like I'm also somebody that like I have a weird habit that like whenever I tell people, they're always like, "You do what?" But like I dream very vividly when I sleep. But my favorite kind of dreams to have are nightmares because nightmares seem to evoke the most emotion. And it's like when I wake up, I feel creatively motivated if I have a nightmare.
Interesting.
So like I've looked up a lot of different like I've looked up how to induce nightmares. So like I keep
Wow.
my room very closed or very cold because like being cold is one of the things that like helps trigger nightmares more frequently. Like I've gone to those lengths of like, man, I want to have nightmares. And
Well,
it never used to be that way, but
hold on, Pesto. Let me pause you real quick. We're gonna be going on tour together. We ain't keeping the room cold, mother. I'm just letting you know right now.
So you can wake up with night terrors.
yeah, Deku just
yeah, you can continue, but I just wanted to put that out there. Like
no,
we ain't.
you're cool. I just do that like at home. I'm kind of like I could sleep anywhere in any condition and be comfortable and be fine. But when I'm left to my own devices, specifically if I have
Hmm.
time where I know I'm gonna be able to create, I like to do that because it wakes me up in a state of like I'm thinking. I'm thinking in a creative and kind of like I'm in that survival brain and I'm also like really perplexed and it gets the wheels going in my brain faster than anything, faster than a cup of coffee, faster than a Red Bull. Like it gets me thinking, you know. So it's the survival impulse of mankind, I think, is strong enough to like it really jolts something in you. And it's for me, it definitely helps inspire creativity and a lot of times, like you talked about concepts when it comes down to sitting through albums, most of the concepts I've come up with for albums I've created have come in the morning after having a nightmare. Because I think of these very intricate different things that I can tie stuff together with.
Hmm.
And then I just start running with that. Um,
Hmm.
and it feels
Yeah,
like things just kind of fall in place that way.
it's actually very interesting. I rarely remember any of my dreams. Yeah, I don't remember any of my shit. I'll be completely honest. I don't even know why that is. I've never asked nobody about it. Um, Rarely remember any of them. But it's crazy.
It's,
Isn't that crazy though,
that's
Pesto?
weird.
Because I have a crazy memory on top of that with the freestyle shit.
You have one of the
So it's
craziest memories.
so it's actually crazy. I don't remember my fucking dream shit, whatever I have, but I can remember a crowd giving me 15 words in the order they give me the words and then reverse the order right on the spot. Like I could do
That
shit
was
like that.
insane to see. Like when we did our show, I was like, whoa.
Now I do it. Now I don't do it full acapella now. Now I do the way I've been doing it now recently is I do all the words in order acapella, and then when I go in reverse, I hit play on a random beat, and then I'll do the reverse words all over the beat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's skill.
it's
That's a gift.
yeah, because I people have asked me how I do it, and I got no answer. I got no answer for them.
Bro, it's funny because you it feels like it happens more frequently with the instrumental ones because you'll get kind of more amped up. But we did talk about it on the podcast when we reviewed your song, and I'm sure you might have picked up on this, but like all of our favorite Denku is like angry aggressive Denku. And it's like I've seen it most frequently when there's somebody acting like an absolute douche in the crowd before you go up and then you just go up there with this like anger and I could tell or like the venue's been shit the whole night, something the show's been going like fucked up, and then you finally get up there and you just snap on people like the biggest example I have is the New Year's show when that one lady got in your face and the timing was kind of weird, so it was like you're like, man, are we gonna get to the point where I'm gonna get to do my full set? Like, I don't want to get my stuff cut off. So when you went up there, you had like chip on your shoulder for your whole set, and then when you did the freestyle, it was just like, stay the fuck out of his way. It's gonna kill you if you get in his
Yeah,
way while he's freestyling. Like,
yeah.
you
What
be
the fuck was that chick in my face for? I don't even understand. And I got a mic. Like you're just talking loud. Like I have a mic,
Right.
everyone can hear me. I'm gonna talk shit about you right now.
Yeah.
Like sit the fuck down.
Or
It's
the
what
chick pulling her phone out and typing like
oh yeah.
I
she just
cannot
dropping
stand that.
everybody. Like this chick, she came up to me and she's like, "Hey," she said, "You seem like you're really close with him." And I was like, "Yeah." And then she asked me something and I was like, "I don't know what you're saying. It was way too much information. He's rocking. I'm trying to listen to this. Like,
Hmm.
talk to me after it." So she types it out on like a Facebook filter that says like, "Hey, when is he gonna be done? Me and my friends want to shake our ass." And I was like, "Motherfucker, like he's got a couple songs, like chill out." So then
Ugh,
they go up to somebody else and they do the same thing. The guy that's like put the show together, and he tells them to buzz off. Then she goes right up to Denku,
Yeah.
like while
Right
he's
up to
like
me.
in the middle of
oh,
doing a
that's
song,
insane.
and just pushes her phone in his face, and he
Yeah.
reads it, and he's like,
And
"Motherfucker."
yeah, cause she I don't know if she changed the message, but when she held the phone up to me, it said, "When's this bullshit gonna be done so we can shake our ass?"
Oh,
And
fuck
I
her. She's
Oh,
stupid.
I had said, well, it's done when it's done. And
Yeah.
I'm not the DJ. Maybe afterwards you can talk to the DJ and maybe he'll play something to your likeness. But right now, I'm gonna do my shit. So go away. And then they walked to the back. And as they walked to the back and they were about to go out the doors when I was doing my acapella freestyle shit, and I had said some shit about him, and I told him to get the fuck out. And then they left.
Good. I can't stand people in the audience that are just like trifling, and I don't like when people turn their back and they're just talking. Like I would literally go to them and like rap in their face. It's
oh my
like
God,
and
we've
embarrass
had some shows.
them.
Yeah. Well, if you ever do a tour and you ever venture to Wisconsin, and if I book the show, don't worry, you won't have to worry about um, disrespectful artists on the show because I usually always put great artists on any lineup I put together. Um, so yeah, so there is that. That would be
Cool.
a thing. If you ever do venture on the tour, have you ever thought about touring?
Yes, I have actually. I would love to. I've just never set one up before, but I know we've talked in the past about, putting some things together or just talking about it in general. And yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
would love to for
I
sure.
mean, yeah, if you, like I said, if you need any type of guidance on how to build a tour,
Hmm.
I'm always down to help out people that I think are dope. So, um,
Yeah.
and I've done this before. I've given people formulas, even around here, but they don't use them. I don't
Yeah, I've
understand.
done like maybe 3 or 4 shows in like a couple of days, like when I went to California one time, I've done that, but I've never just put together where I'm going like city to city, like in different states. So
Yeah,
love to.
it's definitely a grind. It's and I'll be completely honest. Touring's not for everybody.
Mm.
This tour that I'm putting together right now, it's actually going to be Pestilence's first official tour, and he said he's all ready for it, and I think he'll be fine on it. But I think we're going to get to day 9, and we're doing 21 dates. I think we're going to get to day 9 of the tour and already be kind of exhausted. I'm not even going to lie to you, because it's about that point. But the thing is we can't let that happen because we still have so many dates left. And I feel like nowadays you have to be that constant content creator on tours to make them even doper than they are. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take the get footage of different things that happen, talk about things that happen in each city, maybe throw some different random video shits out. Even if you have music videos that you're trying to shoot, if you have extra time during the day, you could shoot in different locations. Like there's all these extra things you got to constantly be on the go, 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 go with the tour shit because you're probably only going to do one big tour a year. I mean, most independent artists, that's kind of what it is. I mean, there was one year in 2019, I'll probably never do it again. At that point in time, my mom and my aunt helped me with my daughters a whole lot. Like I get my daughters every other week, and they helped with my daughters a whole lot to where in 2019, right before the pandemic, I did 4 separate tours that year. Like I did a winter tour, a spring tour, a fall tour, and a winter tour. Like I did 4 different tours in that year, and that was like played 125 shows like in 2019.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, it was super. I don't even know how I did that shit, but it was crazy.
props to you for doing it.
But one major tour a year, I think, is all an independent artist really needs to push either one main album or multiple albums if they put them out that year. I think that is the standard thing that would help independent artists, because we got to be honest, we don't make money off music. Like streams, we don't make shit, right? The way to make money in music to where you can be successful is the tour and selling merch on tour and building your fan base up, to build a fan base up big enough that follows you, to where when you put out merch, even from the place of your own home, later on, those fans become hardcore fans and follow you and buy every piece of merch that you put out. That's the way. Streaming's not the way. We all know that, but it's a way to get your music in hands of new people. But it's not like you're making a living off streaming. Nobody, no artist is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So,
it's a little
um,
bill money.
yeah. So, but yes, I think that is the thing that people need to do, or find other means. Like, I have friends that do music that teach music, teach hip hop, teach certain things that they do in music, and they make extra money that way. I know my homie Carnage actually got a grant from a theater group, like 15 grand, to create a a album that he could perform in a theater,
That's nice.
and and he did it. I actually went to go see his album release show last week in Minneapolis in a theater, and super dope
That's
album.
awesome. Yeah, you do have to get creative. Um, and it's little opportunities that you don't even know where they're coming from. Like I've been paid to do smaller festivals or to write for someone or pay for a feature or for an appearance or for a product. Just like random stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, opportunities are here and there. Like they come and
Hmm.
go. Yeah, certain things happen. You get different opportunities. I had the opportunity recently to do an organization had reached out to me and paid me to do a suicide prevention song.
Oh,
Um, because of my professionalism, they knew that I would be able to do it because of my professionalism. That I wouldn't like half-ass it or put it off. And I can do concepts. I know a lot of people that follow me, they think I'm just a punchline battle dude, but I can do concepts. It's just not like, I'm very versatile with it. Um, just for anybody tuning in that thinks I can't do that shit, that's why I had to say motherfuckers. but, but yeah, yeah. Photography. Let's talk
hmm.
about that. Let's talk about how you got into photography on top of the music grind. Did that come? Did that? Did you? Is that something you wanted more than music in the beginning, or was that something you picked up as time
Nah.
went on?
Music is always forever and will be my first love. But I am an artist. So
Mm,
I am a creative, I'm an artist, and I paint, I draw, I do
dope.
events, I do a bunch of things that create moments and experiences. And all my life I was that friend that had the camera, whether it was a disposable camera or the small, Nikon camera or whatever. So I was always taking photos of my friends. And when I went to college, I studied radio and television and film.
Mm,
Um, After I graduated, it's not a lot of work. you know. And I decided to get my own camera, like an actual nice one, and just took all those skills and started taking photos, and it just grew from there. And I was doing freelancing, and then I got serious about it and started my own business. And yeah,
That's
I'm
dope. Have
the
you ever shot music videos? Do you shoot music videos?
yeah. I started off shooting my own music videos, so I would
Dope.
shoot like all the background stuff, and then my best friend would shoot the stuff with me in it. So yeah, I definitely shoot music videos. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've recently been doing that. Mostly, uh, I'm just real nice with the edits. Like my edit game is pretty nice. Um, and usually I would work with other videographers. Not saying and I'm not even dissing at all or saying that their shit was whack and they didn't make dope videos for me. They did. They did make dope shit. They had good cameras. Um, cool shit. But the edits were not ever creative edits.
Mm.
They were just scene passing shit like that. Like I don't know if you've seen any recent videos that I put together, but I like to play with different filters based on the vibes, and then I pay attention to the lyrics. So like if there's like a lyric that stands out, I'll throw in something that makes sense in the video that plays in with the lyric that was said. Like when I
Mm.
said I said a line in a song where I said your your traditional like cheap spaghetti sauces, and then like a fucking spaghetti sauce can is like right by my dome plate. Like just
Okay.
random shit like that. Like throw shit like that in.
That's
Cause
what you're supposed to do though. Make it fun. Like,
and but I mean, cause let's be real. Like real lyricists, a lot of people don't catch that. Like the general public doesn't catch what people are saying. So you'll kind of have
mhm.
to spoon feed them little pieces of things, whether it's visual or you have to actually explain it to them of what it is, because a majority of the general public will not get your shit. I know
Yeah.
I've dealt with it for years. Like people have they're like, what are you even talking about? That doesn't even make sense. I was like, well, it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to you because you don't get it and you don't understand what I'm saying, because I'm using like either a super creative punchline with some crazy wordplay, or I'm using big words that you probably don't even know what they mean. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Or a reference they just don't understand.
yeah,
Haven't, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, there's definitely that thing um that happens, but that's dope. Hearing that you're a creative as a person, I feel like that's what I am. I feel like that's what Pestilence probably is. Definitely like so we're all creatives, because
Hmm.
I don't necessarily draw or paint anymore. I used to do that. I actually went to college for graphic design. Barely any jobs when I got out of college. One of the hardest fields to find a job in, because they constantly want 10 to 15 years experience off the jump. And how the fuck are you supposed to get that off the jump? It doesn't even make any sense. But um but I do other things. So like I said, I do the edits. I collect fucking. I randomly started collecting all these fucking toys and shit, and I'm never gonna sell. I'm never gonna sell them. So I create the Denku toy chest with that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I do that shit on the side. I do other promos. I sound engineer. I've been sound engineering for probably 20 years now. Um, yeah, always doing something creative. So, what is next for you?
Singles. I'm dropping all these singles. I feel like I've just been hoarding music. I've been recording a lot. Like I haven't always been posting it, but yeah, I've got a lot of songs lined up, and so I'm just basically gonna put them out one by one. We're gonna create content along with them because artists have to be slaves to content now. But whatever.
We
So
do.
it's
We
like,
do. It's what it is.
yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it out. Like I was just kind of being selfish, and I've like been riding around to like some dope music, like just me and the people, my team and stuff. And now
Hey,
it's
they
it's time to let everybody hear it. Yeah.
What's up? That's dope. Well, I look forward to hearing it. Um, Pesto, you got something you want to ask, Rogue?
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm curious. So like, um, as being a female MC, and it sounds like you're really into the creative elements and the artistic aspect of it. What is your opinion of the state today of what's being pushed as popular from the female side? Because like, as somebody that didn't find hip hop until more recently, you know, and then diving through older catalogs of different generations, it was like it feels like, you know, back in the classic eras, a woman that could really spit and speak her truth and shit like that was a lot more well respected than somebody that would either show off their body or talk about something for shock value. And it feels like, at least to me as somebody that's just watching shit, that that's what they're pushing now more today, is less about the content, particularly from a woman's side, than you're seeing it as in the man's side, where they're trying to make it more about the spectacle than what's being put out there. What do you make of that current, I guess, more on the mainstream side of things?
Yeah. Um, it's a problem. I see it now as a problem. I mean, I thought it was gonna balance out. And that's my thing. I feel like um the balance was taken away for whatever reason. I'm not gonna jump into any conspiracy theories right now, but there was Lil Kim and there was Lauryn Hill. You know what I mean? And then you had some, more classic MCs that were kind of still around, like a MC Light. You might hear one of their tracks. You had Patra. You had Lady of Rage. It was just all these different female artists on, that you were able to see all on the same platform. I think the problem now is that we're not seeing that. It's not that they don't exist. Hello, I'm here, as well as, other artists like you could say a Rhapsody, you could say a Tierra Whack. And it's like, yeah, we've kind of, heard of some of these other, female artists, but they're not put on the same pedestal. And I think that's a problem because when I go to places, there are, women of all different ages, even, young girls who are like, oh, I like you. I don't identify with like, I don't really like Nicki Minaj. Like she's okay, but like, I don't identify with that, and so they're kind of just looking around or feel like they have to be a certain way just to fit in because they're like, well, this is what they're saying is popular. So like now I guess I have to kind of do it, even though I'm like uncomfortable, but I just want to, fit in. Um, but I mean, I had a friend. He's an A&R. I'm not gonna say for who, but because I don't know if this is a private conversation, but we
Yeah.
grew up together, and now he's an A&R. And he said when a certain female artist came out, one of the more recent ones last year, he said, I feel like they're gunning for y'all the same way that they went for guys, with the trap and just the drill. And there's nothing wrong with these types of music. Like I like certain songs, I like Cardi B, for instance. Like I like her, but there's some female artists that I don't like. But it's um it's just interesting to see kind of the trend, you know what I mean? Because it's not that certain artists can't go. We have a Kendrick, we have a J. Cole, we have, I don't know, we have a Future. You know what I mean? Like we have more diversity when it comes to guys in a sense, more so than women. It's just like it's this mold. I've been in different meetings where, people have been interested, you know what I'm saying? And it's a certain mold. Like each one is just like, well, we like what you're doing, but you gotta do this. We like what you're doing, but what about this? And it's just like
Mm,
I can't
yeah.
be fake.
I feel
So
that.
it's rough, but it's I don't know. It is what it is right now, but it's an issue, there's no diversity. And that's my only issue with it. Because like I said, it's not that I don't like some of the new female artists, even if they, whatever they wear, I don't care. Do you like have fun? But we need some diversity in there. So that's how I feel about it.
I totally agree. I think that like you mentioned Rhapsody, I think she just dropped a full album that was
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's dope. It's super
bonkers,
dope.
like super bonkers. It doesn't get hardly any attention at all
Hmm.
outside of like the underground heads, you know, or you got, you know, like Ciroc when when she came
Hmm.
out, she had a bunch of dope stuff. You even have, you know, Raw Digga, like still um
Yeah, she's still like
is
touring or something
performing
too,
and
right?
she's still touring
Yeah,
and
she
doing
still does shit.
shows and
Hmm.
stuff and she's crazy dope and it's like you said, it's not that it doesn't exist. It's just it is a shame to see that it's not being given the same push from the industry as the sensationalism is. And like you said, they do more so, or at least today, on the guys' side, there is that diversity, especially with like, you know, you just had that beef where it was like, this is about lyricism, you know, these
Hmm.
this is what we're focusing on. And then you'd see the beefs that they're having on the bigger side with the female artists, and it's more about let's make this about drama. Let's make this about, you know, who said this or who said that. It has nothing to do with the art itself. And I feel like to me, as somebody that's a creative, I think it's just a problem for everybody.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
I think, you know, like I found this late. Fortunately, there's a lot of influences and inspirations I've been able to find that have made me passionate. But I think about the youth and I think about kids that are watching and listening to stuff and thinking about, you know, the ones that are artistically minded that go, I want to do that when they go to a live show for the first time. They go, wow, that was cool. I want to do that. And I feel like it is so important to have those different areas represented because like you said there could be girls that identify with that and that's cool, like it's cool that they have those idols to look up to, those people that are into the same things that they're into, are into the fashion, into different things, into appearance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm thinking about kind of like people that were like me, that were into poetry, into reading, into the intellect side of things. And like me and Denku just did a festival on 420, and there was, I think there was just the one, there was a female MC, and
Mm.
her entire set was just talking about like the grossest shit and like
Yeah.
gyrating and stuff. And there was a bunch of like young kids at this show, and to me it was like wow,
Yeah.
like that's really weird for them to like that's what they see as like this is what they're going to remember when they see that,
Of a
and
female rapper.
of a female rapper. And
Hmm.
our experience too, and this is something that's newer to me because I never really thought about it, but I was like, man, I don't think I really necessarily make music for kids by any means. So I don't think kids will really get into my music or I'll be popular. But then we start doing shows, and anytime there's kids there, me and Denku are the ones they end up coming up to and really attaching to and going like, I loved your stuff. Like this was awesome. We had a kid at that show that he kept coming back to us
Mhm.
and being like, you guys are so awesome. Like I'm so excited. And then the parents come up and go, man, I really appreciate like you're up there, you know, doing this thing that like we're not into rap
Hmm.
music, but the way that you're doing it and you're, you know, you're speaking some really creative stuff. Like you got my kid interested in vocabulary. You got my kid interested in knowledge, and I appreciate you doing that. And I think that's important for
Mm.
people that are creating any kind of content because this is
Hmm.
ultimately influencing the next generation. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's important to have those elements represented for those people that are interested into that kind of stuff so that you don't call out that from the next generation, you know, because there
Right.
are poets in the next generation, there are intellects in the next generation.
It's like, can you eat the same thing every day? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you don't listen to the same artist all day, every day. And it's like sometimes what they're giving you, it may be a different person, but it's literally the same formula like every
Mhm.
time. Like you can't eat the same thing. It'll make you sick. And I think
Yeah.
people are getting sick of it.
Yeah. You know the only way I want to answer to this conversation right here is it's a lot easier for me to make a top 10 female rapper list than a top 10 male rapper list
Hmm.
because there is not as much. There's not as many diverse artists that I've heard as females to where it's easier for me to pick out the favorite ones that I enjoy what they do. I could easily make a top 10. I could do it right now without even really thinking about it because of and I'll be honest with you. I don't do that much because I think it's kind of corny. I usually do a top 25 overall. And Cyrock is always in my shit. Like I have a song with Cyrock and she is ridiculous. She sure knocks a lot of dudes off tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's skilled. Yeah.
A
like
lot of dudes off tracks, bro.
yeah, yeah. She's crazy with it, and super cool and super humble. Like she's super cool. She's from Atlanta, right? She is. She's from Atlanta. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure she is.
I don't remember. I know I've heard people talk about her, but I don't know if she's from here, but I've heard people talk about her here. I
Yeah.
like what's her name? Neelam, I think. The one I think she's like a Muslim. I've only heard like a couple of her songs. She's like really dope. And she's kind of got like this militant type of like look to her. I think that is her name, but I like her. And I've only heard some of her songs in the past, but I saw something that reminded me of her again. I think somebody on some page posted it, but
Hmm.
she's pretty dope.
I might have to check her out. I don't know if I am super familiar.
I could be
Um,
saying her name wrong, but there is a female rapper that is like that and she's dope.
um, yeah, um there's an artist named A Athena. But she does like small A TH. Um, somehow how she spells it differently because it has like a different meaning behind it. But she's actually from she moved around a lot. She's from Nashville, moved to LA, but she actually lives in Atlanta. Now I tried to get her to come out to our show, but she don't really it's very unfortunate that she stopped doing music because if she kept
Oh
doing
no.
music, y'all together, you and her together, that would be insane. Like she's super cold. Um, and it would be crazy to see y'all on a track together actually.
Hmm.
But she I tried to get her to do I have one unreleased song still with her. Because we've done multiple tracks together over the time. And I still have one unreleased joint. I keep trying to get her to do this video for it. I'm like, man, can you just give me some visuals? Cause it's like a visual age now. Shit needs to have videos. Can you just give me a fucking video footage? And she's like, nah, bro, I stepped away. I stopped doing like,
Oh man. I hate hearing that. I
damn it.
mean, but everybody has their own journey, but
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
hearing when talented
Um,
artists are like, no, just don't do it anymore. It's like, no, we need you.
yeah, it hurts my whole feelings sometimes. Hurts my whole feelings. Especially when they're cold and they just stop doing it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
feels like that's
Yeah.
been happening a lot more recently too. And I don't know if it's a product of, because I'm not saying that being an artist is any harder now than it's ever been. I know being an artist has always been, because it's one of those fields where as much as like you can do a show and people all love you and you get a lot of love at the show, it's an underappreciated craft. You're putting a lot of investment forth before you ever have an opportunity to see any money. It's the only job like that
Hmm.
that people
Mhm.
do in mass. Um, I don't know if the climb has gotten discouraging because physical mediums have
I
become
think that's a part of
far
it.
less important, but it does feel like, yeah, there's been a lot more. I mean, him and I have had discussions about a lot of people that we know that are like considering hanging it up, and there's people here and there, and it's like I always do get like a very sad feeling because like the first guy that got me into hip hop, his name's Space Case. We do a lot of music together. We're part of Two Face Media, which is a group together. And he's been like Mr. Miyagi to me. And when I came in, he was kind of like, yeah, I'm wrapping it up. Like I'm gonna be done. And I was so passionate, so into this that it kind of like re-evoked the spark for him for a little while. And then I moved away for a while and wasn't as active. and he retired last year. He retired and did a show, and we all, or maybe it was 2 years ago, we were all there at the show. Denko was there. He performed it, and he was done, and he hung it up for maybe 6 months. But then we started growing, like he didn't quit doing music. He just switched to like producing and stuff. But it was like, this is one of my favorite MCs of all time. He's the one that got me into hip hop. Like it crushed me. And then we got more people around him that are passionate and creating and creating. And then that he just was like, yep, I got a 5-track EP I'm releasing. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yep,
That
and I
artist
got this.
community is important.
Like, I do think it's really important to have the iron sharpens iron. You have other people
Hmm.
constantly keeping you, because when you're not getting a paycheck for it and you're putting a lot of hours into it and you're really investing yourself into it, I do understand for how some people can look at it and go, man, like this isn't paying my bills. This isn't supporting my kids. This isn't, doing stuff to further my day to day. And for me, it's never been about that. It's always been about the therapy and the like, this is every bit as important as breathing to me. Like I need this
Mm.
to want to continue to exist and be happy. So I'm getting paid constantly while I'm doing it because like that's what I do it for. But I
Yeah,
do understand everybody else is in a different position in their life. And like you said, they have their own journeys, they have their own priorities. And it's like it does feel like a lot more than in the past. You got people that are incredibly talented, dropping dope stuff, people love it, and they're like, yeah, I think I'm just done, and it feels like it's been happening a lot this last year.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of people I've seen that have been talking about hanging it up. But I don't want to keep you super long, Rogue. It's already 10:30 by you, right? Because you're at East Coast time.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you super long. I mean, this is a very good conversation. We could probably carry on for another 2 hours.
All
So,
right.
and I still do want to talk to you about the Atlanta hip hop scene and your perspective. But I don't want to keep you to do that. So maybe we'll bring you back at another time and we could talk more about that and
Sure.
more topics and things like that. But before we get up out of here, why don't you let people know where they can find you, find your music, follow you if they want to get in touch with you for features or videos or photography, all that good stuff.
Cool, cool. So I am easy to find. Everything is at Rogue Dynamo. I am on TikTok and IG and Facebook. It's ROGUE. A lot of people spell it wrong. ROGUE DYNAMO. Rogue Dynamo. And let's see, that's on everything. My website is roguedynamo.com. You could Google Rogue Dynamo, you can search it, and wherever you listen to music, it will pop up. And for my photography, it's called The Iris Faction. It's at The Iris Faction everywhere. So Iris like your eye. So the company is called Iris Faction Media. So everything on social media is at The Iris Faction, including the website, theirisfaction.com. So yeah, I travel as
Very,
well.
very dope. Very dope. Yeah, like I said, we will be in touch. Um, and like I said, we could talk more about the touring things in the
For
future.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff.
I've been
But
putting it
yes,
off. I got to do it.
yes, this has been the CyphaDen chat in association with the Denku podcast. I am your host, Tayamu Denku. That's my homie Pestilence. Tonight we had special guest Rogue Dynamo. This has been brought to you by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even those higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you will never know what you are fully capable of. And that's how we're going to leave that. Rogue, I appreciate you once more for being on the podcast. Pestilence,
Thank you so
as
much.
always, I appreciate you for coming on here and doing this thing with me. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Rogue, we will be in touch. The clips will be up. The repost will be up very soon as well, so we can promote the episode a little bit more like that. We appreciate everybody that did tune into the live. I did see some likes and pops up in there on the chat and everything like that for what we were talking about, so that's also dope. But we are out of here for the evening, so thank you again for tuning in to CyphaDen chat. And Rogue, once again, appreciate you. Peace.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
coming.
It was fun.
Of course.
Yeah.
Until next time, we will be in touch. I would love to get that Atlanta hip hop talk at some point.
Okay.
So, yes. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.